So Xiaomi just dropped the global version of the Xiaomi 12 and the Xiaomi 12 Pro, and this Xiaomi 12 Pro has a crazy 120 watts hypercharge, a triple 50 megapixel camera, a WQHD plus LTPO AMOLED display, and more. But where does this leave the Xiaomi 12 then? But first, let's unbox both phones. Now, starting from the Xiaomi 12, the box comes in white with the number 12 in the middle, Xiaomi 12 below, and sound by Harman Kardon down there as well. And at the side below of the box, there's the color, the RAM, and the storage specs that you choose. Opening the box reveals another smaller white box where you'll find the SIM ejector pin on the outside. Then there are the manuals and the clear phone case on the inside. Then you'll find the phone itself. Underneath, there's the USB-A to USB-C cable and the 60-watt turbo charging brick. Then the Xiaomi 12 Pro comes with a black box instead, with a similar text placement in front and the color and the specs below at the side of the box. Then, like the non-Pro variant, the smaller box has the SIM ejector pin, the manual, and the clear phone case. Now, after being greeted with the phone, underneath there's the USB-A to USB-C cable. And unique to this Xiaomi 12 Pro, there is the included 120 watts hypercharging brick. Now, looking at the build quality of the phones, now my first impressions were both phones had a solid build and quite a weight to it as well. Now, it is definitely heavier than the T series of smartphone, where the Xiaomi 12 weighs at 180 grams and the Xiaomi 12 Pro weighs at a hefty 205 grams. Now, because of this matte finish and the 3D curved wrapping around the phone, from the front to the sides, it definitely did help when it comes to the overall grip of the phone, so it did feel very nice in the hands. Now, speaking of finishes, the rear phones had a matte finish too. Looks something like Xiaomi has never done in their smartphones before, and the purple color matte finish on the Xiaomi 12 kind of reminded me of Oppo Reno's Glow kind of finish, but of course it had a purple tint to it since it is in purple. And I have to say that I kind of prefer this purple-ish kind of finish compared to the multicolored one that you find in a typical Oppo Reno Glow smartphone as well. Now, the rear camera designs are the same for both variants, and I absolutely appreciate the fact that both phones does not wobble at all when typing it on a surface, which a lot of smartphones tend to do these days because of the overall camera arrays, and that was not the case when it comes to this. Then, looking at the ports and buttons other than the USB-C down below, there's the SIM ejector slot, where each are on the opposite sides, where both has a dual SIM card support but no micro SD card slot expansion. And you'll find one of the quad speakers for the Pro variant over there, as the other speaker is on top, where you'll find it together with the Harman Kardon logo over there next to the IR blaster. And finally, there's the power button and the volume rocker on the right. So when it comes to the build quality, I have to say that I would give this an A- because it definitely checks all the right boxes to have a very good build quality when it comes to a flagship smartphone. Next, when it comes to the display, the Xiaomi 12 comes with a smaller 6.28-inch AMOLED dot display with a resolution of FHD Plus 1080 by 2400 pixels, and the Xiaomi 12 Pro comes with a larger 6.73-inch AMOLED dot display with a higher WQHD Plus resolution of 3200 by 1440 pixels, where inside of the settings there is an option for you to bring the resolution down if you want to save battery. But my oh my, the screen on the Xiaomi 12 Pro has to be the best screen that I've seen on any smartphone from Xiaomi ever since the release of the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. But that's not to say that the Xiaomi 12 wasn't as good, because it does use the same display technology, and if you really compare both screens side to side, you'll see a very minute difference. Now, going deeper into why the screen is as gorgeous as it is, because the Xiaomi 12 Pro actually uses Samsung's E5 screen panel, and we all know how amazing their screen panel has always been, and it is an LTPO display which has the Adaptive Sync Pro. So we are looking at a 120Hz refresh rate panel for the Pro variant that goes down to a mere 1Hz to 120Hz depending on your usage. And there's also the Adaptive Sync 120Hz technology for the non-Pro variant, where it won't go down all the way to 1 Hz like the Pro variant, but the overall adaptiveness is depending on your usage as well. And instead of typically doubling the touch sampling rate to 240 Hz, both phones has a higher 480 Hz touch sampling rate instead. Then the screen panel has the Corning Gorilla Glass Victus protection, and one interesting thing that I found is that the in-display fingerprint sensor is placed slightly towards the bottom of the screen for the non-Pro variant. Not a huge deal or anything, but it's something for you to keep in mind with. Now, brightness levels on the phones were perfect, where the Pro variant has a peak brightness up to 1500 nits and the non-Pro variant goes up to 1100 nits of peak brightness. And during my first impressions just using the phones for several days, watching videos on it was a really pleasant experience. Now, it has Widevine L1 support on Netflix on both phones, and on top of that, it also has HDR10 and Dolby Vision support on the phone as well, where you can even see the logo of the Dolby Vision over there for movies that has one, which is something that even the flagship Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra doesn't have at this moment. Now, the audio experience on both was really impressive too, due to the sound tuning of Harman Kardon with Dolby Atmos support, where the Pro variant has a quad speakers and the non-Pro variant has dual speakers instead. So with this, I would give the phone screens on the Xiaomi 12 and the 12 Pro an A+, because Xiaomi has really increased their screen quality game when it comes to their new 12 series, and is surely one of the main reasons why you should get the phone. Now, in terms of cameras, starting from the Xiaomi 12, it has a 50 megapixel f1.88 aperture lens, a 13 megapixel f2.4 ultra-wide lens, and a 5 megapixel 50mm tele macro lens. Then the Xiaomi 12 Pro though comes with a different Sony IMX707 sensor of a 50 megapixel f1.9 aperture lens, another massive 50 megapixel f2.2 aperture ultra-wide lens, and another 50 megapixel f1.9 aperture which has a 48mm telephoto lens. Then as for the phone's front cameras, both has the same 32 megapixel f2.45 aperture lens. Now, based on my quick test shots, the rear cameras were really great for both phones. Definitely flagship level images for the rear and also for the front camera as well. Now, since this is a first impressions video, so I'm not going to go into detail on comparing how different the shots were, which will save it for an in-depth review when it comes to the camera reviews, especially testing out all the AI features. So let me know at the comment section below if you'd like to see that, and of course, subscribe to Adam Lobo TV if you haven't done so to see that. Now, as for video recording, both phones can record up to 8K 24 frames per second, a frame rate that I will never ever use. And yet again, in year 2022, and still, we don't have 4K video recording for the front camera, where it only maximizes at 1080p up to 60 frames per second. Why, Xiaomi? Why? But yes, both the rear and the front video quality was excellent still on both phones, which I'm of course looking to test out more during my full video review. Next, looking at the other specs of both phones. What's nice is that both have the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset, so there's no chipset discrimination for the non-Pro version, which was nice because that usually tends to happen. Now, both devices has the LPDDR5 RAM and UFS 3.1 storage, where the storage and the RAM could of course configured based on what exactly that you choose. Then in terms of battery, the Xiaomi 12 has 4500 mAh of battery and the 12 Pro has a slightly bigger 4600 mAh of battery. And of course, as seen in the unboxing, the major differentiating factor on both phones is the fact that the Xiaomi 12 Pro comes with the ability to charge up to 120 watts with Xiaomi Smart Hypercharge and 67 watts turbocharging for the Xiaomi 12. And since it uses Xiaomi's adaptive charge, it will learn your day-to-day charging routine and optimize the battery health for the phone. And of course, with Xiaomi's signature Surge P1 charging IC on both phones, you don't have to worry about turning your phone into a... And of course, knowing the fact that the 120 watts charger does come inside of the box, this is a clear towards all the companies that does not provide a charger in their boxes. Then both phones has a 50 watts of wireless turbocharging and 10 watts of reverse wireless charging. But yes, as usual, I'll see how much of a battery life that I can get when I use both phones daily. Now, as for the both phone's software, both comes shipped with the latest MIUI 13 on top of Android 12. But weirdly enough, the Xiaomi 12 comes with version 13.0.4 and the Pro comes with 13.0.3. Yes, MIUI at its best. But of course, during my first impressions, navigating and using the phone, launching app and everything was perfectly silky smooth and fine, so there were no issues over here. Now, as of the recording of this video, since the phone just has been launched globally, there's no official price of the phone here in Malaysia yet, so stay tuned for that. Where as usual, I will either update at the pinned comment below on the pricing or let you all know during my full video review. So guys, with this, do let me know what you would like to specifically know about the Xiaomi 12 and the Xiaomi 12 Pro in the comment section below, and either I'll reply to your comments directly down there or I'll revert back during my full video review on both phones.